The city never sleeps, and neither do the dreamers who build its pulse. From every corner of the globe they come. Visionaries, creators, leaders, each carrying a spark ready to ignite the world. This is not an event. It's a revolution of rhythm and reason. A symphony of minds. A movement of momentum. Sifu Rafael, Lancelot, Jose Escobar. Together they set the stage for brilliance. This is the NYC Experience. Mastermind, light up the city. They coming from the east, coming from the west. Knowledge on deck, put the truth to the test. Leaders in motion, hearts in sync, dropping wisdom so deep it'll make you think. They bring stories, sweat and flame, different faces, one shared name. Elevation, that's the sound. NYC Experience Mastermind, where purpose is found.
Good morning, Lancelot. How are you, my brother?
I'm very good, thank you. And what a blessed morning it is. How are you, sir?
Oh, my goodness. I can't tell you. Every day seems to be getting better.
And better, that's right. That's right.
And you know why? Because it's coming down the pike. We are going to have our event very soon.
Yes.
December 6th and 7th.
I'm
You
very
gotta keep
excited.
watching. You need to come and join us if you're not
That's
on the
right.
list. Let's get that list going, right?
That's right. We still got more seats left. So come on down and get in the room. That's the most important thing, is get in the room.
Yeah. Well, today's topic is leadership, right? That's one of them, right? So let's start with leadership. And what does leadership mean to you? And why is getting in the room so important for a leader?
Well, first of all, leaders develop other leaders. And I think it's important to get in that room and surround yourself with a bunch of visionaries, collaborators, and leaders. And a quote by a very wonderful gentleman, Emilio Roman, always says is that when you get around people that are positive and leaders, just being in the same room with them steps up your productivity 15%. So if you're looking to step up, if you're looking to surround yourself with people, visionaries and collaborators, get in that room, because I promise you, you will come out of there a better person than you went in. And like you always say, I'm growing every day. I'm getting better every day. And being in that room will absolutely grow and get you better every day.
Absolutely. I think one of the things that we all need to understand, that leaders are readers, right? And also one of the things that we have to do as a leader is take action. And one of the things that a lot of people think is they see someone who's successful as a leader and they want what they have. But are they willing to go through the sacrifices that person has gone through?
That's right.
Right.
Because people don't really.
You didn't become an overnight sensation, right?
No.
You worked hard. You're still working.
Absolutely.
You're still learning.
Absolutely.
I love that about you. This is why you and I align, right? We're both, and it doesn't matter. And when I say white belt, it doesn't matter if it's martial arts or acting or dancing or wherever craft it is. You always have the mentality of a beginner.
Exactly.
And I believe that right there speaks volumes.
Yeah, I think it is a saying that private discipline equals public power. And it's the things that you're doing in the dark that people don't see is what's making you the person that you are on a daily basis. I work like yourself. I get up every morning, 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning, and I'm working on my mental. And my big thing is I'm not who I was yesterday, and I am who I am meant to become tomorrow. So I'm constantly working on trying to better myself intellectually, as well as physically, as well as emotionally. People don't see that. They see the end result, but they don't understand. It's been consistency over decades that I have built who I am as an individual. And what happens is, because I've put the work in, when I walk into a room, It's like a magnet. People are attracted to you because of the quiet work that you have put in, year out. The work that they do not see.
Yeah, absolutely. One of the things that I've always said to people, because, I also, like yourself, you help people with their fitness and their level of advancement. It's always, I tell people what you do in private shows up in public, especially if you're going to eat that donut in private, it's going to show up in public. Jose Escobar is
Jose,
in the house.
what's going
Jose
on,
knows
Jose?
how to enter a room, right?
Yes,
This
he
is the
does.
thing about Jose. I love this thing about Jose because the event could be going on. I'm like, Jose, you going to be here on time? He's like, don't worry. When I
I'll
get
be there.
there, the
That's right.
party will start.
That's right.
Well, you
Good
can
morning,
thank Dr.
brother.
for my professional appearance because he woke up like 8 times last night
Ooh.
throughout the night. The last week has been crazy for some reason. I think he's teething or something because he's been waking up like nonstop throughout the night. And yeah, last night was like 8 times. And I said, I need to sleep in. And then sure enough, like 2 minutes before 7, I'm like, oh.
There you go. I always say if I had a rough night, I say I slept like a baby.
Yeah. Well, not with my baby because he wasn't sleeping well. But
That's what I mean. They wake up every couple of
okay,
minutes,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
So, good morning. Patrick is in the house. I don't know, Jose. He beat you on that one.
What's going
Good
on?
morning,
Patrick?
gentlemen.
Good morning, man. How you
Morning.
doing?
Doing good, Lancelot, Sifu, Jose.
Look at
That's
Well,
that.
you got that strong 7 a.m. voice. I like that.
He does. Good morning.
Like you sounded like Barry White for a second.
yeah.
Sing me a song, man. I love Barry White.
Remember that? Yeah.
Oh, my
Now we
goodness.
aging ourselves with that one.
Yeah, but you know what? You got to go back to the oldies, right?
That's right.
Some of
That's
them
right.
are like the real thing, right?
Mhm.
Some of the artists
Exactly.
today, I'm going to say it. Some of the artists today need to go back and relearn what music was.
Mhm.
And it's okay. I love new music, but sometimes it's like, really? You call that music?
Mhm.
Yeah, a lot of music that today is like regurgitated from like older days, you know.
Mhm.
Yeah, true. And that's what we're talking about, the power of voice, right? So the interpretation that we can take from the old days, and when you talked about regurgitate it, it is sometimes we may say a quote, but that quote may have been said a billion times by now. But that quote is still so good that
Mhm.
therefore it still needs ears to listen to it so it can settle in and impact us in a deeper way.
Mhm.
Jose loves quotes, and he look at the library behind this man. He comes up and he says, oh, and this one and that one, and these are some of the things that we get to share with each other when we get into the right rooms, right? Rude's in the house. Rude's in the house. Look at Dave Hurley. Rude.
Hey, Dave.
Dave.
Rude.
Rude.
By the way, Jose, at first when I saw your background, I thought it was fake until you pulled books out of it and said, look, I said, oh, shit, that's real? Okay.
Yeah,
He's
no,
well read.
you want to see my TBR list? My to be read list is right next to me.
God. Oh, boy.
And then I got books there. I got books there. I got books behind me over there.
Wow.
On my floor right here next to me all over. I mean, there's books back there and there's just books everywhere.
I see.
And that's his you saw the one on his left, right? Those are the books he's going to read this week.
That's how you educate yourself. That's why you're successful. You continue to learn every day, which is what we were talking about in the beginning. Constantly learning. That's right. Every day is another day to be better than you were the day before. I am not who I was yesterday. I am who I meant to become tomorrow.
That's right.
And that's a living
God
proof.
for that.
Those books back there. Kudos to you, Jose.
Well said, Lancelot. Well said. Yeah,
Thank you.
I read somewhere, I think it was in something Ryan Holiday wrote. Ryan Holiday is a writer on Stoicism. He's written all kinds of great books. His most recent book that he wrote is this one here, called "Wisdom Takes Work." Right? It's his newest, I guess, to his 4-book collection. So anyway, so he wrote one time that being surrounded by books reminds him of how little he knows.
Mm,
It reminds him how ignorant he is in life, and that there is more to learn, more to do, and it keeps him with that insatiable thirst for knowledge.
Right.
And that's really, he said it in other words, but I'm kind of paraphrasing. But essentially, that's kind of what I say now, is because it's so true. Like, I'm surrounded by books. This is my, sanctuary outside of church and my family. This is kind of my go-to place, right? This is where I just feel that sense of like, wow, there's more to do. Jose, keep pushing, keep striving. A lot of people go to Google and, oh, how do I do this? I like to go to my library and say, okay, let me find the answer to this in my library, because I know where everything is and I know what's here, and I like to read. So nothing wrong with Google and Chat GPT, but I like to research things. I'm a researcher, right? And I like to look for things in books, which is fun.
wow.
Absolutely. Jose, one day I'm going to have to make you a really funky bookshelf.
Yes, why not?
We'll design it together and I'll make it. How's that?
Yeah, I forgot you're an architect, right?
That's right. That's right.
Well, I also own a wood shop, so I can build anything you need.
Oh, wow, look at that.
But
Okay.
don't change the configuration, because I love how it surrounds him, and I like the fact that you come
No, it
in
wouldn't. It
knowing that
wouldn't.
you
It
have so
wouldn't
much
take anything
to
away
learn.
from him.
Yes, yeah, I like that. I go into that room knowing that I have a lot more to learn. It's a beautiful.
I
Jose's
was in
gonna have
that.
to buy a bigger house just so he's got more room for his books.
That's right. That's right.
I
These things are already in the works, my friend.
I know, brother.
Anybody who knows Patrick knows he's my money guy, so he's ahead of the game.
Yeah, so you know what? Being that Patrick is with us, right? One of the other topics that we want to touch upon today is why getting into the right rooms is helps with your wealth. So, Patrick, if you can share some knowledge on wealth building and being in the right room, making the right connections, how that can impact you in a deeper level that you probably never imagined until you met somebody in the specific room.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, going back to more quotes, uh, your network is your net worth,
Mm.
right? Specifically for me, it wasn't until I'll give you just an example from my personal life, right? So it wasn't until I got involved locally in Philadelphia and Atlanta and Tampa, uh, and even in other cities across the country, with a company called Club Corp, which is now called Invited Clubs, which is a business networking um, and golf membership. And each major city has different locations where members gather for networking events, philanthropy, pursuits, what have you, right? Any reason that people gather, usually in high profile locations. The one in Philadelphia is at the 52nd story of the BNY Mellon building.
Mm.
Beautiful location, in the skyline. In Atlanta, you're, at the 63rd story of one of the buildings right downtown on Peachtree. In Tampa, you're at the Center Club. You're in, one of the skyscrapers overlooking Tampa Bay.
Wait,
Right?
did you say Tampa? Did you say Tampa? What?
I did say Tampa. I did say
What?
Tampa.
And we're gonna be there? Look at that. New York City
We're gonna be
Experience
there.
on Tampa?
That's right. That's right. I can't wait for it, man. But going back to networking, those areas, those companies, those people facilitated introductions or put me in an environment where I was able to meet other local entrepreneurs. And it wasn't until after showing up, showing face, introducing myself, becoming like, known, and trusted that I was able to actually grow my business through that. Right. So we were able to make connections with several multi-million-dollar businesses when we were just starting out, especially in the Philadelphia area. And we were able to help them save significantly on taxes. We were able to help them get their books in order, help them figure out where their profit was. And, you know, those were very significant relationships for me locally, and helped us, you know, basically double the size of our firm personally, you know, year after year, you know, for the first few years we were in operation. You know, then on top of that, gave introductions to large multi-million-dollar corporations like UPS, FedEx, other corporations across the country. So the fact of the matter is, you have to get out, you have to meet people, you have to network, right? And if you don't network, you're never going to grow, right? You can stay surrounded by knowledge and you know, realize how much you don't know, or you can get out there and you can share that knowledge, right? So Jose's right, but that's only half the battle, right? You have to get out there and share it once you learn it, right, Jose?
Amen. Information without implementation is just head knowledge.
Hey, there we go.
How you doing? So we're going to be at the Center Club in Tampa, but I don't want to take away from what we're doing coming up December 6th and 7th. And Patrick is going to be in the room. I hope you bring that voice with you, Patrick.
It's my birthday. How could I not?
It's your birthday today?
Oh, it is?
No, it's your birthday,
No.
December 6th, right?
December 5th, 6th, and 7th. Yeah.
Yeah. So he's going to be hanging out with us. We're going to have a, you know, a big party celebration Saturday night. What do you know?
Hey.
We're going to have some good music. We're going to have some good vibes. We're going to have some great stuff. When we think about birthdays, right? Isn't every day a birthday? I think every day I wake up, I'm like, whew, it's my birthday. I got to wake up today.
Right.
So
Another
I'm
day
just
for us
good,
to reset.
but that's a particular day when you were actually celebrating the birth that, you know, you came into existence. And I think that's a beautiful time. And we're happy that you're going to be with us to celebrate with us. So thank you for that.
I can't wait.
Now, just in case anybody's wondering, I've been chasing Patrick, and the guy's fast. I run as fast as I can, and the guy is fast. And finally, I caught him in New Jersey, and I said, Patrick, no more running. You're coming. And he goes, that's it. I'm in. And finally, and Jose said, don't worry, he's in. I said, yeah, I've heard that before. But this time, so tell me why you decided that this was the one that you were going to really come in. But not only did you come in strong, but you came in and you're going to be part of Tampa in February. So what made you say yes this time? Besides my persistence, because everybody knows me, I am persistent.
Persistence is key. No, it wasn't that. It was the right time. It was the right mix, right? You know, no matter how much we want to do something, if the timing isn't right, then there's going to be potential issues, right? I have been following the New York Experience for quite some time, but I was like, oh, it's New York. And I don't know if I ever told you guys this, but I used to live in Flushing on Northern and 169th.
What?
Really?
Yeah,
Look at that.
yeah.
I went to school at Holy Cross, which was in Flushing. Holy Cross High School.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, okay. All right. Yeah. So, Little Korea used to be my hood.
Yeah.
But it was just time, Sifu. It was just time. And I know I told you that I was in, but um as Sifu likes to say, you're not in until you're in. So I was like, all right, I gotta put the skin in the game, and it was the mixture of the people that are associated, right? So it's a room I want to be in. It's the performance values, the professionalism of those hosting and facilitating. So I have to be part of it. And it is the opportunities that we're going to create, not only for ourselves, but also for other people. And I was like, I can't not be part of this type of win-win situation.
Yeah.
Well
Love
said.
that. Love that.
Well said.
Jose.
Yep.
And many words.
I'm listening to Patrick talk.
So
I want to start saying Barry White.
right. We started with leadership, right, and then we went into the voice, the power of voice, and then wealth. I think all those combined is really what we are creating with the New York City experience, right? We do have so many different leaders from all different industries coming that you never know. Maybe you're talking to somebody and they're not necessarily going to help your business, but they'll know somebody else who may. So it's about getting in the room, right? It's about
Exactly.
Patrick. You were able to grow your business because you met somebody who introduced you to someone else, right? And it's about the introduction. So when we come to the New York City experience, it's not about, hey, let me sell you my products. No, let me get to know you. And then if I can help you, it'll be an honor. Even if you can help me, wow, I'm blessed to be able to be helped. But it's a two-way street. I hate one-way streets, right? Because you only see one thing, but two ways, you got to pay attention because you never know what's coming.
I need your guys' help on something. All right.
Let's go.
So I need to figure out whether this is a limiting belief or a fact. I was told at some point that a human being can only manage 100 effective relationships at a time, right? And so I don't know if that is abject truth or if that is a limiting belief, because I would really like to learn how to manage more than 100 relationships, because I believe that expanding beyond that is how we grow. I don't like losing relationships.
Right.
I don't like, um, having to transition from people. Now, obviously we outgrow people at times, or, sometimes there's relationships that aren't serving us. And, that goes back to, what Jose was talking about with, holiday and wisdom, right? Understanding when it's time to move on. But I would really like to figure that out. So I'm gonna
And if
I'm
I
gonna
can
trust you
expound
guys.
that, I would like to know, how do you successfully navigate 100 different connections and relationships? That's an interesting thing, that you can only navigate 100. How do you navigate 100 successfully would be the question I would ask. And
Well, one of the things I'm gonna chime in, and then I'm gonna give it over to Jose. One of the things, as you guys know, I have 9 shows, and on Friday with T.O. Clay, Coach T.O. Clay, is going to be my 10th live show. And when I have anybody as a guest on my show, I have a pre-call. I always have to have a pre-call. I need to know who's going to be on my show, right? How do they sound? Are they intelligent and so forth? And one of the things I always say to them is, listen, here's my cell number. Here's my email. Here's my information. Here's my LinkedIn. Here's my Facebook. Let's connect. I said, but let's connect at a deeper level. The reason I'm giving you my cell number is because I don't want to have a relationship with you one time. I don't want you to just come on my show and then we're done. I said, that's not what I do. I said, so if you really want to be on my shows, go ahead and book my shows, but let's stay connected. And then the other thing that I do that helps me navigate, because I've had thousands of people on my shows. Are you ready? Spreadsheets. Where do you know them from? How do you know them? Where did you connect with them? So that kind of helps you, and you alphabetize everything, and then you go, who's all my A's, who's all my B's, who's all my C's, and then you get, all the way down, and then anytime, and then you also, the other important thing that we need to do to make our connections even more powerful, what do they do? And then another one is, this is a one that a lot of people don't put in their list. How can I be of service to them? So think about that. And I said Jose's up next, and he
off he went.
He had internet issues, and boom, he moved.
But question, as he's coming back on, once you do that spreadsheet, how do you continue to keep that connection? Are you like randomly reaching out to them? That's the interesting part that I'm trying to figure out is that's learning and meeting more people. How do you navigate and successfully nurture that many connections?
That's part of my issue. Sorry, Sifu. I don't mean to cut you off, but that's part of my issue as well, Lancelot, is like 100 people. I can at least meet 100 people 3 times in a year, right? I can have a one-on-one meeting with 100 people 3 times a year. And I think it's that you need that once, twice, 3 times to build that rapport face to face, right?
Right.
Does that make sense? Because we got 365 days, so you can at least meet those 100 people 3 individual times. Where I'm struggling with, and like you're saying with the spreadsheet, Sifu, that's great. How do we facilitate? Or I really want to learn how to facilitate more. Right? Would that be trying to follow up and schedule? I guess we're getting into mechanics. It's not necessarily a mechanics thing. I really want to know, do you feel like we're limited to those relationships? And Lancelot, you feel like that's a lot of relationships. I feel like it's sorely not enough.
Well, I my question is, as I because this is relatively new for me, is how to build connections, honest, real connections, and what can you do to be able to do that? Because I met a bunch of people last week, and we got the information. I had a great, it was wonderful connecting. But then, what do you do afterwards if there's nothing that you can ultimately give them presently? You know what I mean? So how do you?
Well, one of the things is,
may I chime in at some point here, or
you're gonna just 1 second, right? So one of the greatest things that we can do is find out if they go to events, and maybe you get to go to an event, and you not only meet some of the same people over and over, like we all have, right? We've all been in the same rooms, but now we get to establish that connection. We grow stronger together. And the reason I said Jose is going to go in a second is because he's curated a space where he's allowing people to truly get to know each other. And I love being part of Connected Leaders Academy. Jose, stage is yours, my friend.
So I can very quickly tell you, it's funny because you mentioned this, Patrick, because I've had this conversation with literally 3 to 5 people, give or take, in the last year. Not specifically the way you worded it, but just having a lot of relationships and being able to maintain it, right? But the whole number of like 100 to 150, I think it's even up to 200, is this thing called Dunbar's number. I don't know if anybody's heard of that before. So Dunbar's number is like this system that somebody threw out there, like a number saying, you know, to build relationships requires a lot of like emotional bandwidth, a lot of time, mental recall. Like, what do I need to know about this person to like actually be able to say, hey, we have a relationship, right? Like if you can't, because there's like people that you know, and then there's like deeper relationships. And I think Patrick is referring to like actual meaningful relationships, right? Is that correct, Patrick? Testing.
That is absolutely correct, Jose.
Yeah. So there's a difference between people that you know and they know you, because that could be 10,000 plus. And then there's the relationships that are trust-based relationships, people that know, like, and trust me, and vice versa. And there's something more meaningful there. So those require, again, emotional bandwidth, regular, you know, contact. We interact on a regular basis, maintenance, essentially, right? So
Yeah.
I have found that this ideology of a Dunbar's number, which is 100 or 150, that applies to regular humans that do not have systems. Okay, so
the normies, if you will.
Yeah, so for the typical person that doesn't have an operation, is not a CEO, right? Because a real CEO is not flipping the burgers every single day. They're running an operation, right? So high performers, leaders, these types of people, community builders like me, right? We have frameworks and things that we do so that we can manage thousands of relationships, right? There's a difference. Why do you think a pastor knows all the people in his congregation? Right? Why? And if you go to my church, I'll tell you right now, the priest of my church, he knows everybody. He builds relationships, but there's an ecosystem. There are frameworks, there are SOPs that he's set up over time, right? So you have to have an ecosystem that supports these relationships. So of course, like your inner circle might be maybe 5 to 20 people, right? Depending on who you are and what you consider to be an inner circle. Then you have like the next band, which is like 50 to 150 or 200 people. And then you have the 250 plus people, which usually is a CEO or something like a community leader or community builder like myself, right? And I can tell you in that case, there is not that number that applies. That number applies for people that don't have the frameworks, the ecosystem structure to support inner relationships, deeper relationships.
Now, how do you?
That's what I wanted to hear.
How do you? I guess you do the research on how to create the bandwidth and the structure in order to be able to have those many relationships, right?
Yeah, so you have leaders that support you that are deep in your inner circle that are now helping you build those relationships and are helping you nurture those relationships by default without you being in the day-to-day. And these systems are all designed to ultimately make you have that relationship by default from afar, even though you're not close. And then when you do get close, it's as if they know you already. They've already been hanging out with you because of the infrastructures that you've developed over time. So again, it is very possible, but you have to have the things in place in order to do that. But if you're just living life and you're doing the day-to-day, trying to meet people all the time and hang out with them and all that kind of stuff, then yeah, you're definitely limited to 100 or if that. But when you come to the CEO level, you know, the pastor level, the presidential level, the executive level, you usually have an ecosystem, a framework, or some kind of a SOP that's going to allow you to nurture these relationships without you having to be in the day-to-day all the time.
All right. So you're talking about the true structure, right? And I love that because not everybody can be in the inner circle, and that's just truth, right? And they say, show me your 5 friends that you're close with, and then I'll show you where you're going, right? Because if they're not going anywhere, neither are you. So it's about leveling up with the right people. And sometimes you can expand your 5, maybe it's 6, maybe it's 7, but it's people who maybe their kids. You've been to their house, you've sat with them, you've gone places with them. And then there's those other people that maybe more of an acquaintance, that you still can do things with them. Maybe you will see them at an event, but the more you see somebody, the greater the relationship. I've known Patrick for quite a long time, right? And I feel like this last time that I saw Patrick, I felt more connected to him than I ever have. And we've had a conversation or two since then. And I think that our relationship is only going to keep growing, just like you and I, Lancelot, right? I barely knew you. I didn't even know you a year ago, right? We met in Connecticut, and it was like for a brief 2 minutes, not even 5. And then I made sure to reach out to you, and I said, hey, you know what? Why don't you're in Long Island, I'm in Long Island. Why don't we get together? And we scheduled something, and we had lunch, right? But it was me reaching out and saying, hey, you know what? Let's cultivate this relationship. And from there, we grew to what we've established, which is New York City Experience, right? And it came from just that 1-2 minute conversation that led to a deeper conversation that led to more and more and more. And the same thing that, the relationship that Jose and I have. And it all stems because I've seen Jose 1,000 times before he and I truly connected. Right, Jose?
That's right. Sifu and I met at multiple events, and we had sidebar conversations here and there. And then eventually, like, we couldn't not keep seeing each other, so we said, well, might as well become friends at this point. And then all of a sudden, definitely Sifu is an inner circle kind of guy. And we've developed an amazing brotherhood and friendship since I've known you, and I've known you for many years now, and it's pretty cool. So.
This is, and somebody else put it in the chat, but valuable information, because it's one thing to meet somebody, there's another thing to connect with somebody, is another thing to establish a long-lasting relationship. And that's some valuable information in terms of you have to have an infrastructure if you're looking to be able to have multiple successful connections and relationships. And I appreciate you sharing that, and the people that are listening are getting something out of that as well. Mm-hmm. There's a method. You're just not just haphazardly meeting people, and just there's a whole, like you said, ecosystem that you have to utilize in order to successfully be able to cultivate these relationships. And that's very important to understand. And
Lancelot, you and I definitely need to hop on a virtual coffee, schedule it, because I have some good things to share with you. Because you mentioned, like, okay, well, if I don't have something to sell them or to promote or whatever, like, what do you do after you meet this person and establish a relationship? How do you go through that? I can tell you right now, that is actually my expertise, right? That is actually my expertise, because before I had a business, Lancelot, I've only had a business for almost 4 years, not even 4 years. In January, it'll be 4 years. Prior to that, I have a massive Rolodex of so many relationships I built where people know, like, and trust me. And I kind of already had a kind of infrastructure of how I do it, like an ecosystem. Right? I already had this before I even had a community, before I had a business. and I had nothing to sell anybody. There was nothing to sell. It was just me building a relationship. So there is a process to that. And a lot of people ask me, Jose, how did you build what you built so quickly? And I said, because I already had a foundation of solid relationships. Like in the marketplace, I already had so many people that know, like, and trust me. And by the time I had a business, I said, hey, I have a business. Who wants to buy? And people were like, sign me up. You know, and that's how it happened. So, but yeah, it's all about meeting people, step one. Step two is establishing common ground and having that likability between both of you. Step three is going all in on the what do you call it? The hot buttons of what they love and what you love and where the common ground is, and really going all in on that and seeing how you can serve each other and support each other and help each other without selling each other. And then step four is checking in, the maintenance, the how are you? How's your week? Hey, anything I can do for you, my friend? You know, hey, I was thinking about you the other day, and so, you know, stuff like that. And over time, all of a sudden, you have a real solid relationship. And there's more to it, but that's just pretty much it. And then over time, by the time you want to sell something, or you want to promote something, or you have a Black Friday special, guess who's going to line up to check you out? It's going to be the people that you built relationships with.
So go ahead, Lancelot. Go ahead.
I was going to say more valuable information. Question: does it depend on the people that you are associating yourself with? Because I find that some of the people that I associate myself with, no matter what you do, they're sort of small-minded, and the more you try to push them to do and be a part of something unique
Bigger?
and that will help them out, the more they kind of repel. You know what I mean? So is it a specific type of person, or that works with everybody? You just have to be consistent.
Go ahead, Jose. Tell them about the crabs in the bucket.
Yeah, I can just very quickly tell you, without that analogy that we've heard 1,000 times in the last 3 months, besides going to the crabs in the bucket, I can tell you right now, you just got to watch where you're hanging out, right? Because at the end of the day, you know, that it's about who you're around. It's about who is in your world, right? How big is your world? Your world is as big as the amount of people you allow into it, right? So you have to identify who is in your world, and are these people that want to move needles? Are these people impact players? Are these people visionaries? Are these people dreamers? Are these people that want to serve and support and love on each other? Are these people people that can pour into your life as well in a two-way street? Are these people that desire more out of life and have that like faith of a child that says, hey, there's more to do, and I just want to go out and conquer the world and do some awesome things? So remember, there's all kinds of people, and there's nothing wrong with spending time with the person who has that negative attitude, or it's just like, you know, that's you, Lancelot, but not me, and that kind of attitude. It's okay to be around those people, but just not very long, right? Where you need to spend your time is where there's reciprocity, and where there's people that add value to you, and where there's people that stretch you, right? That's where your time needs to be spent. And then the other folks, every now and then, you do your part to pour into people, because it's also equally important to pour into others, but without draining your battery every single time. Because if you're not careful, you can spend 10 hours with somebody who adds value to you or stretches you and be like, oh my gosh, that was amazing, and you feel more energized. Or you can spend 5 minutes with somebody who drains you and feel like your day is done. You know, so you just have to be careful of where you spend your time, and not all relationships are created equal. But that's up to you to see that, and to protect your circle, and to protect your time and your energy.
Well, and also I want to encourage you, never try to push anyone, because you're always, if they're not ready and pursuing, they're always going to push back, and that becomes so draining and exhausting personally when you want better for someone than they want for themselves, right? That's always going to be a losing pursuit.
So true. I cannot push a wet noodle. I say that all the time. You cannot push a wet noodle. If there's a wet noodle trying to push it, what's it going to do? It's going to crumble up, you know. So you can only push a solid, firm, noodle, right? A noodle that is ready, right? But if you push a wet noodle, you're not going to really push it. It's just going to kind of like fall apart and kind of crumble up, right? So that's just a very simple analogy. And but now that, since we're talking about very quickly, since we're talking about what is today's topic? Leadership, wealth, and the power voice. The power voice. I want to talk about one quick thing very quickly because it's on my mind. I actually heard this. We're talking about the individuals that you're talking to in the circle and all these things, which does matter. And you said a great point there, Lancelot. I was listening to Myron Golden very recently. Anybody know Myron Golden that's here on this call? Everybody, or just two of you, one of you? Okay, if you don't know Myron Golden, look him up. The guy's a wizard, right? Amazing guy. So I was watching something from him recently, and he said this powerful statement, and it is so true. Now, obviously, not everybody's going to agree with this as a standard statement, right? And obviously, there are exceptions to the rule, to anything really. But this is a statement that truly matters, and it speaks abundance, and it's very clear. He said, "Poor people, you know what they think about all the time?
What?
Poor people think about money all the time.
Say that again. It came in broken up. Say that again.
Poor people think about money all the time. So what do poor people think about most of the time? It's money. It's money. I need more money. Money. Is this going to be money? I need money. Poor people think about most of the time.
No, Andrea.
There's nothing wrong with being poor. It's just it's a financial place that you're in at the moment, right? I would say broke. Like my personal verbiage would be broke. I would rather be broke than poor because poor is a mindset. Broke is a financial condition at the moment, right? So what do broke people or poor people think about all the time? They think about money. What do the middle class think about all the time? The middle class think about credit. They're all about the credit. I got to fix my credit. I got to improve my credit so I can buy more things with money I don't have to impress people that I don't really care about anyway. Right? And this is the middle class thinking about credit. I need more credit. I got to fix my credit. I need to get more credit cards. I have to be able to afford more things that I don't need that I shouldn't probably buy. Right? And then what do the wealthy people and the rich think about? I'll show you the title of a book. This is what they think about. Think about time. They think about managing
The
time.
most valuable commodity.
Day, right? So this guy, Dan Martell, wrote a book called Buy Back Your Time, an amazing book. So there's a difference, right? And they say time is money. That's not necessarily true because there's a lot of statements that will back, and I'm not going to spoil the whole thing, but go check out Myron Golden. He has a master class, but it's the whole idea that, again, poor think about money, middle class think about credit, the wealthy think about time. I want more time. I want more time, and money is not going to help me do that, right? It's systems and processes and all the things that are going to buy back your time. So you're not flipping the burgers and doing all the things. So there's a difference in mindset. So when people say, oh, the wealthy is all about money. No. They have created a lot because they have created a lot. But it's not because it's just all about money. It is about time freedom. That's why anybody goes into entrepreneurship because they don't be working all the hours. They want to be able to roll over instead of right? They want to be able to pick up and go wherever they want. If they want a raise, they say, I'm going to go out there and do some extra work today and get a raise, right? It is what it is. It is just a simple concept. And I brought that up because part of our topic today as well. And I think, again, it's something to consider. Like, where is your heart right now, right? Because there are exceptions to the rule, right? But where is your heart right now? Am I thinking about money all the time? Am I thinking about credit all the time? Am I thinking about buying back my time? And there are different levels and different things that you can be doing that are going to speak to that thing that you're thinking about.
Time is of the essence, right? So think about this, right? One of the things that we do lack is how to manage time. And I think one of the things that people always ask, how do you accomplish so much? How do you do all these things? Is because we're managing time. And one of the best ways you can manage time is by spending it with the right people. and even leveraging that time that you do spend with them so it's impactful. I mean, that's one of the greatest gifts that we have is learning how to even manage that time. When you were talking about getting into the right rooms earlier, we spoke all about this. I created a deeper relationship with the next person I'm going to share with you guys. And the relationship became so deep that we said we have to do something together. And you talked about Black Friday, this coming Friday, right? So day after Thanksgiving. And so I asked my fiance the other day, I said, when is better time to buy? Is it Black Friday or Cyber Monday? And she goes, I think it's Black Friday. And I said, it probably is. So why do I already had my sale at one of my facilities and it did really well, right? Because I said I'm going to beat Black Friday and I did it a week before and it worked out really well. But this coming Friday, I know Jose's going to have tons of sales. I don't know if Patrick is, I don't know if you are, but while people are thinking about shopping, I want you to think about leadership. Let me share this with you guys. Take a look.
Unify leadership. Let's move. Let's lead. Let's ride. Unify leadership. Light the flame, turn it up loud. Remember the name. Unify leadership. Power and pride. We don't just talk, we testify. Unify leadership. Hard and grind, purpose and rhythm, perfectly timed. Bass hit heavy, purpose and rhythm, perfectly timed. Bass hit heavy, crowd on sway. Culture clay, truth and play. Sifu Rafael, calm control, leaders in sync. Hearts of gold, focus sharp, the mission clear. Every step forward, silence the fear. Discipline, dripping, confidence, how we move together, we amplify. Who we are, unify. What we lead, unify. Stand tall, unify. Every time, unify leadership. Raise that bar, leaders in rhythm, born to spar. Raise that bar, leaders in rhythm, born to spar. Steady and true, the sound of the few that follow new. Strong alive, this is the beat where leaders thrive. Unified leadership.
Boom. And by the way, our first show is going to be this Friday, and Jose is going to be with us, and Robert Little is going to be with us as well. And,
Who's the other person?
Robert Little.
Okay.
And he's also a Marine, a retired Marine, right? Major Sergeant or Sergeant Major, one of those guys. But the whole thing is, join us 8:30 this Friday. So it's going to be live and it's going to be about leadership. And I love what Leon said also. This is gold. People get so stuck on the statement, I just don't have enough time to, and whatever, right? When you don't have enough time is because you don't know how to balance it.
Balance is the key to everything, man. To finances, you can't run a business without a balanced budget. To a household, you can't run your household effectively without a balanced budget. If you're not balancing your time appropriately, then something is getting underserved, right? The one thing when it comes to time that I was cautioned to very, very early on in life is not to try to do everything, because then you're doing nothing well. And that goes back to what Jose was talking about, systems, processes, and procedures.
Yeah.
I would piggyback off of what Patrick just said. Great statement there, Patrick. And it's really the idea of multitasking. So many of us want to multitask all the time, but then we don't do one thing well. We just do a bunch of things okay, right? We do a bunch of things in an okay fashion, but we don't do one thing well. And I think it's about laser focus. You got to focus on the main thing. They say to keep the main thing is to keep the main thing the main thing. So what is the main thing in a certain block of time that you're supposed to focus on? And if you do things well, it's not so much about time management as it is self-management. We have to manage ourselves, because you don't manage your time. The time is going to move whether you're doing something about it or not. right? The train keeps moving. It's really about managing yourself. And that's really where the needle moves, when you are aware that my time productivity is dependent upon how I show up within blocks of my day, right? So that's why you have to have a planner. You have to have a schedule.
Mhm.
So in terms of my final thoughts as we're approaching the top of the hour, I can tell you, as we're like talking about leadership and voice and wealth and all these things, in my personal thought, right, in order for you to truly create wealth, in order for you to truly be a tremendous leader and have a voice like nobody else has, right? Not just the sound of your voice, but the impact of your voice, right? That's what we're really talking about. Not the sound, it's the impact. Average leaders, and somebody said this, I believe it was probably John Maxwell, maybe. Average leaders talk, good leaders speak, and extraordinary leaders move people into action.
Mm.
Okay, average leaders talk. Anybody can talk, right? Good leaders speak, and speak has a tone to it and some kind of an impact to what you're saying. Extraordinary leaders move people into action. Your ability to push people into that next piece of the conversation and to do what they need to be doing, right?
Mhm.
So at the end of the day, know that leadership is going to create wealth, and wealth is going to create the impact that your voice carries, right? So super, super important. And I think all of us have the ability to be impactful speakers and really amplify our voice. And just being a speaker doesn't mean you have to get on a physical stage and speak on a microphone. Not everybody wants to do that. But
Mhm.
we all have a voice. We just have to make sure it's tied to impact. And the impact that our voice carries is directly linked to the level of our leadership. Are we leading ourselves at the highest level with discipline, managing our schedule, managing our time? And by default, if you're doing these things accurately, wealth is a byproduct of the way you show up in the world.
Yeah, managing your schedule and not allowing others to manage it for you. I think that's an important key aspect to a great leader, knowing their schedule, right? Because you can have, for example, in one of my businesses, I don't control the schedule. I show up when I'm told to show up. Why? Because I have somebody who I trust 1,000% that they know my schedule so that they can schedule me with my clients. And what winds up happening is a lot of times they have to go and look at my others because I have many schedules, right? So they go and look at my schedules and see when I'm available. And sometimes they even clarify it with me to say, hey, can you squeeze this one in, or can you do this here? Can you do that there? And so it's about having the right people. If your schedule is, because I have several businesses, and for me, it's about being able to be present when I'm supposed to be there, right? So if I'm scheduled with a client or I'm scheduled for an event, I want to make sure I'm 100% present, not that my head is somewhere else, so that I can give them the best value for for their buck, if you will, right? Because every time you show up somewhere, you should bring value with you. And I believe that that will help people understand who you are, and then they're going to want you to be in the room with them. So guess what? If we haven't met you yet, come join us at New York City Experience. Text the number NYC 516-242-8732. Let's get to know you. Bring the value that we're asking you to bring. Go for it, Jose.
Very quickly, I have a live show with David Ingram. I'm going to be speaking at his event this upcoming weekend. So shout out to David Ingram, CLA member. If you don't know him, you should know him. So I got to run, but I definitely will start listening to, for the next 2 minutes, Patrick Root and Lancelot with our final thoughts. If you are not yet secured with your name on a chair, December 6th and 7th, at the New York City Mastermind Experience, I don't know what to tell you. Why are you not there? Why are you not secured? Why are you not showing up? This is where you need to be. Okay. And we're not saying this just to get another butt in the seat. We want the right people in the room. Right. And it's time for you to raise your hand and say, I'm the right person. Right. You have to bank on you. We don't want to have to motivate you to come. We want to inspire by creating the right room. and you know darn well I deserve to be in that room. I belong there. Just say yes, get your ticket, reverse engineer the process of how you're going to get there. So thank you
Yes.
so much.
Angelina's going to be there.
Angelina.
So Angeline is going to be there with us. So many incredible people are coming. Jose, you go do your thing, man. So happy that you joined us today. Every Tuesday,
great being
we get
here.
to
Love
share
seeing you,
time.
Patrick. Love seeing you, Lancelot. See you.
Take care, Jose. I'll be calling you for that virtual coffee because I want to get some more information. This was valuable, bro. Valuable.
All right.
All right, man. Have a great day.
All right. For everybody else who is there, and what Jose said, it's not about just getting anyone in the room, because I can go outside on the street and go, hey, come in the room. Let's go. We're going to have this event and we're going to get people. Yet we want the right people in the room. We want people who are not just coming to get, but also to give, right? We want givers, but also you need to live in a world where you receive as well. So for everybody out there who's like me, I'm a giver. You also need to learn to receive and to say thank you when you do receive, right?
That sometimes is the hardest part, being a cheerful, not only giver, but a cheerful receiver.
Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
But for those people, that are not yet signed up, I mean, if this podcast today did not convince you, then I don't know what is your problem. The information and the value that I got out of this was extraordinary, and I can only imagine being in that room on December 6th and 7th with the people that we have there is just going to elevate you substantially. So I invite you, if you have not signed up, to text Sifu, go to the website, do whatever you have to do to get there to be a part of something special.
Yeah.
There's nothing like
Happy holidays.
That's it. Happy Thanksgiving. Yes.
That's right.
correct. There's nothing like being in the room with global giants, right? One of Jose's favorite quotes is "A rising tide raises all ships." Well, if you're not in that room, you're gonna miss the tide.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
Right.
So Leon says she's got a fire in her belly. Let's go. Right.
Yes.
Let's go.
Thank you.
Yes.
Does that mean you're going to get your ticket?
Happy Thanksgiving. That's right. Happy
You know-
Thanksgiving. Yeah, I got to get out of here myself. I got a
Yeah.
client.
Listen, everybody have
Patrick.
yourself an exceptional day. Thank you,
Yes.
Patrick,
You're
for
welcome.
coming in and bringing that DJ voice with you this morning.
Feels
Ooh,
Barry
sing a
White.
song, man. Let's
All right,
go,
guys.
Barry. Let's go, Barry.
Let's get it, guys. Let's get it.
Yeah. All right. All right, everybody. Happy Thanksgiving. We will see you
Yes.
next week. And remember, Friday morning, 8:30 a.m. Join me
Yes.
live with T.O. Clay, Coach T.O.
There
All
you go.
right, everybody.
All right, Joe.
God bless.
Later.
Enjoy, everybody. All right.
Sifu Rafael, Lancelot, Jose Escobar. Turn it up, let's go. Turn it up, let's go. Let's go. No time to wait. Bass too loud and the vibe too great. Let's go. Full on fire. Every move hit like a live wire. Let's go. Stepping bold. No fear here, just hard to go. Let's go. Lights on blast. We don't hold back. We move fast. Hit the flow, we don't miss. Whole room lit like a first kiss. No cap, no stress, no chill.